Here we are. We are live. It is Michael Knight, New York, Vinnie, Mikey and Vinnie on a Wednesday morning. Good morning, Michael Knight, down there in Pasadena, California.
And good morning to the Super Bowl champ city of Seattle, and to you, Vinny, and to all your staff and coworkers.
Yeah, the staff is extremely excited about the game.
Good. Well, I think I have to give them the edge.
Yeah, I think it's well, there's things, and I think we'll go more into this Friday, but there's things that I like, things that I don't like about this matchup, and one of the things that I love is just the way Sam Darnold has turned on the switch in the postseason.
Yeah.
I should say turned off the switch of throwing interceptions under pressure. That seems to be something that during the season he had a bit of a problem with. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember one time in the middle of the season, there were 3 or 4 games in a row where somebody actually just would reach up and tip a ball that he was throwing. But they got past that, and I think it's like day and night in the postseason. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the game anyway. But it's just one of the things that I don't know if it's been talked about a lot because I don't listen to sports radio anymore. I see stuff on the internet and on social media and stuff like that, but I don't. Do you listen to much sports radio anymore, or much? Do you watch ESPN all the time, or?
I watch ESPN. I check the headlines. I don't listen to radio. That's just because they trained me not to. They put a product on the air that was so annoying and difficult to understand what they thought they were doing. Is just not what I would call a professional ongoing product. And but then ESPN with Stephen A. and the quarterback from the Carolina Panthers, guy with the crazy wardrobe. Anyway, their opinions and their delivery and their take on everything, pretty difficult to swallow. Even though I watched the morning show on ESPN today, and they were on the Embarcadero in San Francisco, 35 miles from Santa Clara, but still, if their Super Bowl is visiting the area since they played Super Bowl 19 at Stanford many years ago. Super Bowl 19, if you can think about that. Now it's Super Bowl 60, and they're back. But the 49ers are not in San Francisco anymore. They are in Santa Clara, and this has been a vibe that has not worked well for the 49ers. They get close, they have promise, but they never ever. They just can't.
Well, haven't they been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and they do, and they lost them both.
Yeah, I lost them both, but still, they've gotten there. So it's hard. And how long have they been in Santa Clara now? 15 years? No, less than that, right?
About
15 years. So 2 Super Bowls in 15 years, even though you don't win them, that's not horrible. I mean, it would be hard for me to say that there's a jinx if they're getting there, or that there's like Santa Clara has not been kind to them. Now, I don't like the idea that they play in Santa Clara either. I think the city of San Francisco screwed up royally when they didn't figure out a way to put another stadium at Candlestick Point. That could have been, that was everything. I mean, I remember the election for that. I was still living in San Francisco at the time. Well, the first election where DeBartolo wanted to develop a shopping center and the stadium and everything at Candlestick Point, and they voted him down. And by a close margin, And it was, and they tried again after that to have an election, but the people in San Francisco said that we didn't want to tax people that would go to that point in San Francisco, which really, for all intents and purposes, is in Brisbane more than it is in San Francisco.
That's
But
true.
but that's the decision that the people made. The people decided that they didn't want it, and the politicians weren't strong enough to stand up to the people and say, "Well,
They,
this is
they,
a tragedy."
they wanted
And
baseball and basketball right there on the waterfront, but not football.
yeah, well, and it would and if the election were held today, it'd probably be a different result. I mean, if they came to the people in San Francisco today and said we want to build a stadium, and and DiBartolo's going to cover, however many percent of it, a sizable percent of it, that they would probably approve it. I think. I mean, I don't know for sure. Politics, as you know, Michael, in San Francisco is always whacked out. You never really know what to expect.
The hex that's on the team can best be illustrated by their injury list. They actually are investigating the 49ers in every way that they can to determine if they're doing something or there is an environmental element to the long, painful, destructive injury list for the 49ers. And they can't, as yet, put the two together, the injury and the facility. But they think that there's a connection, and they think that there's something terribly wrong with the air, the environment, the training exercise, whatever element of the construction of their practice facility and their executive offices and their wherewithal, their facility could be contributing to the incredible amount of injuries that the 49ers have sustained, not just to the team, but specifically to starters and stars, Bosa, Purdy. The list is long, and the investigation has spurred some derisive conclusions about the 49ers. What makes you think that the witches have brewed up a concoction that the 49ers are victim to, but nobody else is? And it's a good question. But the fact remains that the 49ers are of the opinion that there's something about the way they're doing business that causes ongoing injuries. And that's a pretty freaky conclusion to come to.
Well, now who's doing the investigating?
John Lynch and the executive committee.
Okay, so the team is trying to figure out. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but many years ago, the Warriors had a similar problem where their starters would get hurt consistently more than the average of the rest of the league. And that's when Tom Abdenauer was the trainer of the Warriors. And they they investigated that. I don't know how they, they looked at it. I wouldn't call it an investigation, but certain people looked at it and said, well, and they found out that they got hurt. Their incidence of injury was more than the average NBA team. I don't remember how much higher it was, but it was higher. And among their starters too, because they're at different times, half the team would be out.
Yeah.
And I remember at one time when I first came up here asking Frank Furtado about it, who was the great illustrious head of training for the Sonics. And I don't remember that he had a lot good to say about the trainer. He didn't, he thought that there was something there. So it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility, I think, to have athletic trainers that not that they don't know what they're doing, but maybe they have a wrong program for what that particular team is.
They
How
can't meet the
those
challenge, right?
teams are constructed. I mean, that's entirely possible. And so I don't know, maybe the 49ers will turn up something like that, where the training staff or people that are on the training staff or some, they're not using a good program or the right program to keep those bodies in shape. It's not unheard of in the leagues, to get rid of one athletic trainer and bring a whole new staff in when you're injury prone. I know it happens in baseball a lot. Not a lot. I mean, by a lot, I say maybe one every couple of years where they just are dissatisfied with the shape of the players. And now these players are much larger investments than they used to be.
Yeah, the physics have changed dramatically.
Yeah, and the money's
height, weight, and strength.
Yeah. I mean, everything's changed about it. From the science of what they eat and what they should be putting into their bodies, and if you have this particular type of body, should you be taking this, eating this particular kind of food, and just all of these different things that go along. They don't have the steroids anymore to lean on. I mean, so they have to figure out how to do it organically. So, and again, I don't know the 49ers particular training staff or situation. It does make you scratch your head when you see that amount of injuries on a team and a consistency of it, from one year to another. Everybody can have a bad year. But
both quarterbacks for the Super Bowl have injuries. The oblique for Donald, and May has a throwing problem. He only threw yesterday for the first time, which puts the preparation in question. Will the Patriots be able to bring a fully prepared team to the game? Would it be as prepared if the quarterback hadn't been injured? And that's forget about the betting line. The team you put on the field, how many hits can Darnold take if he's subjected to a big rush? What about May? Can the Seahawks defense get to him? And if they bring him down a couple of times, will we be facing the Al Davis maxim of the quarterback must go down and he must go down hard? Well, I don't have the answer to those questions, but I know that they both were affected by their playoff injuries and had to adjust their preparation in terms of plays and throws and reps as a result of that. Now that's something for Bally and all the other gambling aficionados to figure out the line on that one, but it's got to affect the outcome, especially if the quarterback goes down hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, he had that injury. I forget. I didn't get it in the championship game, but he got it. I think in the game before, or I think it was the game before that. The divisional finals there, and they've been managing it pretty well. As a matter of fact, it was interesting. I remember they were interviewing somebody on the team. I forget who, but I saw an interview with them, and they asked him about Darnold's injury, and he kind of rolled his eyes and said, "Yeah, an oblique, right?" Almost as if to say, that they put this out there, and maybe he isn't as injured as everybody thinks he is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's an impression that I have heard. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking at an article right now. It's she does, the woman that they had a doctor from NYU talking about the injury, but he was 25 or 36 for 346. they take a look. We'll have to see. I mean, just don't know if they hit him. I mean, they protected him fairly well in the championship game.
Right.
I suspect that they'll do the same, and with a week, 2 weeks to rest up, that they'll do the same. That they'll protect him. But yeah, I mean, one hit could, could be the difference. But he's a tough guy. He'll play through it until he can't, until it affects him. It didn't seem to affect most of the throws that I saw in the championship game.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
And they shot him up, so he didn't feel pain necessarily.
Yeah. I didn't notice that he was limited in his throwing. I mean, he was 25, 25 passes for 25 to 39, I think, or something like that. So it's close to the average of what he had. And he had a couple of bombs. I remember that. So we'll have to see. I mean, I still think it's gonna, the running game is gonna be. It's going to be very important. They're going to they should be able to, if they have to, lean a bit more on him handing the ball off. If that injury does become worse or is not healed or he can't throw the ball right, and they'll know. I mean, they listen. Seahawks got a great medical staff. I have complete faith in them. And if he can't throw the ball like he's supposed to, then Jackson Smith Najigba is going to get a workout. He's going to run a bit more.
Bring him on the end around.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw that a little bit in the last game where he was running a bit more, and luckily he's a superstar, so he can do it.
Yes.
I don't know that I think if you're going to have to rely on somebody to carry a bit more of a load than they normally might, he might be a good guy to rely on. I would think.
Well, the running. You're right. The running game has to be established. There's just no way around it for a balanced attack that puts the Patriots defense in check. Speaking of the Patriots, they've taken some hits. Not that they won't survive, but Bill Belichick didn't get in the Hall of Fame. Kraft didn't get into the Hall of Fame. The voters for who gets into the Hall of Fame apparently have issues with both those men and their careers and their production during their Super Bowl victories. And they're paying for it now. I don't know why. I didn't expect this. I didn't realize that the voters to the Hall of Fame held such a negative aspect for the Patriots. And I guess it's the so-called cheating in Deflategate and all the rest.
Yeah, I think that probably has something to do with it, Michael. I mean, I don't know. My lifeline to Hall of Fame voting, and the guy that I always used to talk to about it is John Clayton, and of course he's gone, so we can't contact him.
But he could explain it
because he used to explain it perfectly, and he knew where the skeletons were. He knew where the bones, where the stuff was buried, where the bodies were buried.
Yeah.
It's not out of question. I know a lot of East Coast writers, teams that the Patriots beat in those years, are not exactly enamored of the Patriots, and not enamored of Bill Belichick. I mean, listen, there's no doubt that he should be a first round Hall of Famer. I mean, what could you possibly say about Bill Belichick that would keep him out of the Hall of Fame on the first round? But when you leave these things up to writers who may have been scorned in their careers uh, by Bill Belichick and maybe by Robert Kraft. I mean, Kraft not only had the cheating scandal, but he also had that little thing that was going on with the massage parlor.
Indeed. I haven't forgotten that. And he got off scot-free.
Yeah, so maybe there's there's the Young Men's Christian League that are looking at that and saying, well, we can't just put him in. I mean, there's no doubt that both of them will get in at some point, but this is the opportunity for the voters, the Pro Football Writers of America, to exact a little revenge on especially a Bill Belichick, who has been a notoriously bad interview and a notoriously crappy guy to reporters.
Funny thing was, after he retired and before he went to University of went to Carolina to coach, he did the Monday Night Football show with Peyton and Eli Manning, and was great. He talked, he interjected, he judged on the run, what that play was like, where it succeeded, where it didn't, what they have to do to be better. He was outgoing, he was forthcoming, he was a football machine, and it just freaked me out. It was something to witness because he was using all of his experience to do good television, and I couldn't have been more amazed.
Well, if you remember, he used to come on. I don't know if it was after every Super Bowl, but it was after most of the Super Bowls. He used to come on Letterman and spend time just kind of explaining the game, what went on, and talking to Dave about football. And he was engaging then. I mean, he even smiled. I mean, he was just an engaging guy. But as far as when he's doing business, he doesn't seem to be an engaging guy.
He does it his way, period.
Right. He does it his way. I mean, the only other reason I could think of is that, most of the reporters are jealous that he's got an 18-year-old girlfriend or something like that.
Hey, it happens. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they're jealous. I don't know. But I think it's just another case of, the writers getting a bit of exacting a bit of revenge from somebody who didn't treat them like they wanted to be treated over the course of their career.
It's not unheard of.
Oh no! Well, it's obviously not unheard of with when you look at the baseball writers. I mean, you got a guy that didn't vote for Tom Seaver to get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
With a justification that was not made public, but was obvious to everybody that it was personal.
Yeah, it was some guy that who the hell knows, what interaction he might have had with Seaver at some point. Seaver wasn't always kind to reporters either. And with the whole incident and the whole thing that Dick Young did to him, the year before he exited the Mets, I don't think Tom Seaver should have been kind to reporters. If it were not for reporters, Tom Seaver might have not ever left New York. But it was the little setup between him and M. Donald Grant, who was the chairman of the Mets at the time. I don't know. And they
New York executives are under the gun right now, especially Mr. Tisch of the New York Football Giants for his ongoing friendly, cuddly relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and all that entails. He's got some answering to do. He's got some ciphering to conduct. to
Well,
everybody's
not only
satisfaction.
him, but I mean, there's a lot of people in this country that are doing some splaining this the last couple of days. I saw something online that there was some kind of professor from Duke University that was involved with Epstein going to the island,
Huh.
and you know, people from all walks of life. I mean, he certainly had a wide and varied. Um, I don't know if you call them clients, friends. He just had he had
A
a
realm
pretty
of influence that
yeah.
included Russian intelligence, and the obvious inference there is that he had some effect on their decision making and their what became a secret or what became known or what transpired between different what's the word I'm looking for, assets, intelligent assets, and the open door to Russian intelligence and Epstein is there, and The Economist wrote about it today. If you want to read that online, it says the Epstein rot goes deep into American life.
Yes, it does. Yes. I don't think we need you know, a reporter to tell you that not the rot of what these people did, but the rot of how it's been covered up, how it's been ignored by even the powerful people that had nothing to do with it, how the rich cover up for the rich.
Yes. Happily, they just do it
Happily, how
out of a noblesse oblige. They're responsible to one another instead of the what is right or what is legal.
yeah, I mean, and these surprisingly, um, the one who's been most vociferous on this whole thing has been Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's been outspoken about releasing all of the files. There's still 3 million pages that hasn't been released. And she's been outspoken about releasing the files and going after these people and standing up for the victims. Now, I'm no Marjorie Taylor Greene fan. I don't know what her epiphany is about. I think I have some
She
idea.
makes it interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, she definitely makes it interesting. I mean, I don't know if you caught her on Bill Maher. It was interesting. It was really funny. Bill Maher said to her that she was Liz Cheney 2.0, and she recoiled from that and said, "No, no, no," because she looks a lot like a lover scorned. She looks a lot like that. She got scorned by Trump on a number of different levels after he won the election,
Yes.
and now she's she's going to exact her revenge, and she's doing it. She's making it. She's got a book out. She's doing a talk show circuit. She's become accessible to. She struck a chord in a lot of people. I think, not me particularly, but a lot of people, where it's been. Well, this is everybody should be forgiven. I don't know if you can forgive her for some of the crap that she's pulled.
Well,
She's
it depends how
nasty.
if she's willing to apologize or to openly confront the lies that she multiplied with her own endorsements. The fact that the 2020 election was not won by Trump. Let's start there. And then we'll go to all the other senators and men of influence and close friends of Trump that echoed that point of view and knew they were lying and did it anyway.
Now,
She's got some explaining and some apologizing to do if she wants to be open and forgiven.
Was there anybody on the list, the Epstein list, that shocked you?
The British ambassador didn't seem like a likely candidate. He seemed too old. He seemed too British. He seemed too establishment to fall for a terrible set of a revolt in development. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a revolt in development, and he's paying for it, whereas American politicians with the same exposure have skated. But the British ambassador now is in some very hot British water, and they're not making tea.
Yeah, it's very, very. The one that I thought was really interesting is Casey Wasserman, the head of the LA Olympics. Who I don't know, can he keep that position? Evidently, he flirted back and forth with Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know the whole story. This was back in 2003, but that was one that you know. And again, who knows if some of these people thought they were going to be as famous as they are when all of this was going on. I mean, there's no excuse. Well, there's no excuse for anybody for what was going on that island. What was going on?
The one that I saw this morning, Vinnie, that was interesting was Melinda Gates throwing Bill truly under the bus for his involvement with the Party Island, and that it was a big reason that they divorced.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I was disappointed when I saw Gates's name on it. I was fairly disappointed. I mean, I've been a fan of his, and it's one thing if if you go and you're screwing around on your wife or your girlfriend. I mean, that's one thing. But when you do it with 15 and 16-year-old girls and 14-year-old girls who are procured for that reason,
your legal exposure is just huge. It's just never going to go away.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And it puts a stink on you, as it should, of that you should be shunned, that you should, people should look at you, should not want to invest in your businesses, should not want. Now Gates has enough money, as do a lot of these people, most of these people, to, I don't know if you want to say make it go away, because I don't think it's going to go away, but to at least soften the blow. But you're right when you say this is a rot that has that has put itself on America and is not going to be taken off until these files are all made public, and there's a price to be exacted. This goes far beyond a lot of the Me Too stuff.
This is the root sickness of the Department of Justice, which is not about justice at all. It's about the Department of Protection, the Department of Trump Protection, the Attorney General, the prosecutors, the FBI, every element of national law enforcement and investigation, and the very nature of the cases that they bring are all in question because of the way those people and those departments are operating. And it's a destruction of our legal system that we may never be able to put back together.
Well, and I'll agree with you on everything except one thing. When you call it the Trump, and yes, it is Trump, but don't forget that these files existed under Joe Biden, under Trump 1, under Obama.
Nobody wanted to see him then. Nobody wanted to play the game.
Yeah. These files have been out there for a while. They have been in their possession for a while. You know, his first case was, I forget how many years ago, in Florida. That he got, I forget the light sentence he got, but he got a light sentence in Florida. And so they've had this dossier on him. They've had these files on him for a long, long, long time. And that people have been protected for a long, long time. We bought stuff from. We have elected. We have participated in and endorsed a number of people who have
And a
been
lot
in
of
those
them,
files, and who have even worse kept those files a secret.
the participants were involved financially with banks, with investment houses, all that were complicit, all that were aware something was amiss, that something wasn't regular, but there was something that was very lucrative, and they wanted to play too. They wanted their 15% or whatever the case may be. And they knew something was wrong and hid it and did not investigate it and did not shut down the accounts, all for the dough.
Yeah,
and all for the influence.
And Clinton and Trump were frequent visitors to the island.
Two peas in a pod.
Yeah. So, I mean, we hailed Bill Clinton as a hero all the time, and as the Democratic ideal, but there's a lot of dirt there. But again, I think there's a lot of dirt with all of these people. It's just they live in a different world than we do. They live in a world that people cover up for each other. They live in a world that is. I'm not going to say we can't understand it, but it's hard to relate to. It's hard to relate to how people cover up for each other for these types of crimes. It's one thing if you're covering up somebody for a financial crime, or a white collar crime, but this is not a white collar crime. This is rape. This is kidnapping. This is
human trafficking.
This is all of the things that some of these people make commercials about against. So,
and they can't use any excuse that they didn't know, they weren't informed, it was somewhere else, it was somebody else, it wasn't them, it was I was there, but we were all there at the party, nobody knew what was going on. That's the way the island worked. We just went down there for champagne and influence, and I didn't know, I never knew.
What was it that Leon? I want to come, but I want to be there when the
craziest night,
the craziest parties are going on.
Yeah, that's
what
Leon.
He especially is one that I would love to see take a fall from this. He's a guy that
he hasn't earned a break.
Right, and the sad thing is really, so far none of them are going to take a fall. Ghislaine Maxwell is. I mean, she's in jail, but she's in a cushy jail, and I'm sure that on his way out, on his deathbed, Trump will pardon her.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
And there's just enough, and enough people have, enough people have covered up for this that I only can hope that when people vote in November for new Congress, for new elected officials in Congress, in the House, that they will look at this list and they will. I would love to see a slate of younger people who want to get to the work of making this country, making America great again. You want to talk about making America great again. Get rid of this shit that's running our country. Then you'll make America great again. Get rid of this crap, these crypto assholes, and the other scumbags that are running this country. Get rid of them and put some people in there with some backbone. Problem is, you don't know who has the backbone until you elect them, right?
Sometimes that's true.
But I think you gotta do something along those lines, man, or else, what are we doing?
No, there's a chance that we may be headed in that direction, Vinny. And what brings me to that conclusion is the election yesterday in Texas, where the Democrat won in a red district with a red, fully endorsed Trump candidate. And Trump tried as best he could to make her the focal point of the election. It never worked, and it was an upset, 17 points or something like that. Incredible one-sided victory for the Democrat in Texas. Now that's
in North Texas.
That's an indication we're in another world.
Yeah, that gave me a lot of hope. That gave me a lot of hope. I just look at that and I hope that these people, that people will wake up and they'll see it, because you're going to be fighting a lot of money. You're going to be fighting AI. Is going to be a factor in this election. People, putting pictures on social media that, listen, the White House is doing it. I don't know if you saw the story in the Times this morning about the protester who was arrested at the church, the same church I think that Don Lemon was participated in, and she was led away in handcuffs. And the White House, not somebody that works for the White House, the official account of the White House, altered her picture so that she was shown crying and groveling, and just made her look, darkened her skin tone, so that she looked like an enraged woman being led out of that place. And the woman is an attorney and a civil rights lawyer and a person who ran for mayor of Minneapolis. And her husband was snapping pictures when she was arrested. He's, the Times has a thing in it where they're showing the actual picture, and then the picture that the White House, our fucking White House, the house that we own, is putting out doped up pictures of people.
It's criminal.
Why would you trust anything?
It should be a crime. No, we're past that. We're not trusting anything.
Well, a lot of people are, though.
That. You're right, man.
A lot of people are. A lot of people are, and I don't want to call them stupid, but naive enough that they trust this White House, and this White House can do no wrong. And this guy wants to put a 50-foot statue of himself on a golf course in Florida, and he wants to put an Arc de Triomphe in Washington. The Trump arch. I hope that everything that they have named Trump is erased. They can do nothing more. The next president of the United States can do nothing better, in my eyes, than have Trump's name removed from
everything. Anything and everything.
Everything that he has touched, that he has put his name on. I only hope that he drops dead before they start the Kennedy Center stuff. Now, I don't wish any ill will on anybody.
But in this case,
if he's going to destroy the Kennedy Center, maybe God will see fit.
Just like the East Wing.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal what he's doing, and nobody will stop him. No, but I don't know what pisses me off more, if it's him or if it's that nobody will stop him.
It has to be both. The two, the cult of personality keeps him safe from judgment. The population 70% of the nation can hate him, and he still has the votes and the influence to crest that and survive that judgment. And it's just the strangest thing in the world that he still pulls it off.
It's a sad time. I hate talking about it, Michael. I get upset. I have to. After I do the show, I got to go take an anti-anxiety pill because I get so upset from it that it turns my stomach so much that it just I'm just so angry about it and about what they are allowed to get away with and how little faith I have in the people that run this country. And
well, they're worried about Venezuela and Greenland, which they confuse with Iceland. So you have reason to be doubtful. You have reason to have qualms. You have reason to be worried. You have reason to hate what they've done to America and to Americans.
And then I see guys like Pete Buttigieg, and I look at him and see interviews he does and points he makes and talks that he has. And I look at him and I say, good God, why can't this guy be president? And I know the answer to it.
Sure, we all do.
But I just listened to him. I listened to an interview he did yesterday or the other day with which Trump is it that's on Fox? I forget. Is it Lara Trump? I forget which Trump it is. But one of those people, one of those subhumans are on has a show on Fox. And Buttigieg goes on Fox. He's got no problem. And he just tore her apart. And everything that Buttigieg said, every way he said it, and I would implore people to go on YouTube and get the interview and watch it, because he came out and said and talked about and handled these people like the Democrats damn well better come out and handle people in this coming election and in the one 3 years from now. That he has the sauce. He should be teaching the course.
How to take down your Republican opponent.
And how to answer these people and not let them walk all over you, not let them, and he didn't do it by not letting them make their point. He just, he came back at her with the thing that they fear the most.
The truth. Facts.
The truth. That's it, the truth. And
they can't exist in the same realm as the truth.
They can't handle it. They can't listen to it. It makes them what was that movie where they would hear something, the heads blow up? Scanners. It makes their heads blow up. If only. Yeah, so he's not going to the Super Bowl, is he?
I don't think he had the balls to do that.
Yeah,
He doesn't belong in California.
Yeah, yeah, he probably shouldn't show up.
It's
By the
not
way,
a
did
good
you happen
look.
to watch the governor's debate last night?
No.
Oh, yeah, it was. I guess most of the candidates were there. I think it's for the Democratic nomination.
There's a lot of candidates, and Tom Steyer's the
Yeah,
one that's on
well, it was
television
a
the
long
most.
stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Katie Porter wasn't there. I don't know. I can't. I'm not a big. I can't buy Katie Porter. I don't know what it is about her, but there's something about her. Not that I could buy Tom Steyer either. I mean, I don't know much about him. I have to look a little bit more, but there's something about Katie Porter that just doesn't.
He is on television a lot down here. He bought the most extensive television presence of all the candidates.
Yeah, my sister made an interesting point about that yesterday. My sister lives in California, and she said, watch his ads. Some of his ads that are filmed or pointed toward like the Central Valley, he's wearing like a
Yep.
plaid shirt,
Yep.
farmer shirt. The ads that are pointed more toward the coastal cities, he's wearing a button-down shirt. So he's same background but different shirts. So he has a shirt advisor, it appears. I got to learn a little bit more about him. There seems to be, like you said, it's a crowded field, and then the thing, if you're running for California governor, I guess you also got to start to plan for your recall election as well.
It's a dangerous place. It's a volatile neighborhood, the governorship.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to be the governor in California.
Well, it's the largest state. It's the most populous state. It's the richest state. It is a good place to have a job if you have national dreams that you'd like realized.
Yeah, and that's true.
I don't know if Gavin Newsom's going to be a candidate or not for the presidency, but right now his image is good as a adversary for Trump, but not good as a honorable, everyday guy who could be president.
Yeah, he has his
a little too much California in him.
Yeah, he definitely has some problems that he needs to address if he is going to be a serious candidate for 2028. There's starting to be, I like the Brashear, the governor of Kentucky. I think Shapiro is, but he has a kind of a similar question to Buttigieg.
Excuse me. Well, he's got a problem too with the mayor, the governor of Illinois, Pritzker. It's turned into a candidate that I could support.
Yeah, I think he's a guy. He's a big, beautiful guy, man. He's one of these. He looks like he takes over a room when he walks in.
And he's a self-made billionaire.
Right. He's that businessman that people seem to want so badly, and a successful one. I know that being from Illinois, you got to have some skeletons in your closet somewhere.
It's tradition.
Although they never really came up with any from Barack Obama, or nothing that they could make stick. But yeah, he's definitely I mean, at least we're starting to see some Democrats who you're looking at and saying, I hate to say this, but don't run a woman. I'm just not sure.
I don't see one in the cards right now. I think the candidate could make it, but I don't see that candidate.
Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer gets a lot of play.
No.
I know there's and I don't think she would win, but I know that there's a strong contingent of people that are behind Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I don't see it yet.
I think she's too young.
Yeah, I don't see it yet, but you know, it'll be. It's not going to be fun, but I'm really I'm really keeping an eye on who's starting to push themselves out there because it's time. It's time for whoever wants this job on the Democratic side to run. To start their exploratory committees and their getting around to people and seeing what the public take is outside of their own states, doing the speaking engagements and stuff like that. It's getting to be, somebody can gain a lot of ground by going out and campaigning for Democratic candidates.
As Bob Dylan said, it's not dark yet, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. But the Democratic ticket is going to need some help in 2026. And I think that, a potential presidential candidate would do themselves well to get out there among the people and campaign for people that want to run for Congress.
Because we got to bring the votes with us. You see what it's like having Democrats just a couple votes short all year long. Now our hands are tied. The cuffs are on. The pressure is to just maintain your positions, but you can't win anything. You can't vote for legislative changes. You can't vote for anything that would change the structure of the government right now or put the brakes on
when
they're doing. You can't stop them. Can't
stop
even slow them down.
Because you have people, Republicans that will just lick this guy's boots and lick them until they lick the leather off of it. Sad, but it is what it is.
And they've for months now they don't know what they think until Trump tells them what the conditions of their loyalty is based on. You'll do this, you'll vote this way, you won't say anything about that, you won't mention it, you won't talk about it.
Yeah, and if they continue to do it after everything has gone on,
they won't stop.
They're not going to stop. If they haven't stopped yet, there's little rumbles here and there, but for the most part, they're up his ass, and they're not going to stop.
Nope.
Because he makes them rich. He makes them clicks. He makes them rich. The media organization, they're not going to stop because he makes them rich. He makes his clicks.
He should be forgotten in a week.
Yeah, he gets clicks like nobody else ever has. And it's just it's amazing. I never thought I would see our country in this kind of situation. This is much worse. If you compare it to Nixon, you don't know what you're talking about.
No way. It's not even close.
Because it's nothing like Nixon. Nixon was small potatoes compared to what this guy is.
Small potatoes.
Small potatoes.
Vinnie, let's gather on Friday, shall we?
Yeah, let's gather on Friday. We'll devote the show. I tried to get in contact with Rod Long. He must be in Europe or something. I've seen some postings from him on social media from Europe, so I don't know where he is. I hope he's okay.
He was in the Caribbean, I thought.
Oh, is it the Caribbean? I thought it was Europe. I thought I seen him with pictures from Europe, but could be. But anyway, so right. I'm going to try to scare us up. Somebody from the Super Bowl for Friday that we can talk to, and that's down there and can give us. Downtown San Francisco is jammed traffic wise. There's just people all over the place.
Walking.
I mean, they have the Fan Fest at the Moscone Center. All of the broadcast networks are set up on the Embarcadero. San Jose must really feel kind of left out, huh?
Well, they've got a hockey team.
Well, yeah, but Santa Clara is right near San Jose, and San Jose doesn't get anybody setting up their stuff in downtown San Jose.
You can walk into town and get yourself a room at a San Jose hotel. You can't do that in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm hearing hotels are pretty booked up even in San Jose. So, but it's I feel kind of bad for San Jose because nobody's talking about them. It's all about San Francisco, and I'm sure that they dumped a bunch of money into this. So,
good place to take your corporate jet. That's about it.
Yes, there's plenty of room at what's the field down there by Mountain View, where the dirigible hangar is. Moffett Field. Yeah, good place to park your jet is Moffett Field.
We're up.
Fly in, grab a cold one, watch the game, and fly back out again.
I've never been in a helicopter, but I did fly in the Goodyear blimp.
I've flown a Goodyear blimp too. I wouldn't go in a helicopter. Couldn't drag me in one. I take it back. If it was a life flight, God forbid I would ever have to use that. You go in. But if you say to me, Vinnie, get in a helicopter, let's go for a ride. No, thank you.
No, thanks. Let's go by car. Thank you. I'll
yeah,
meet you
anything with a glass floor like that, no.
Not for me.
No. All right, and I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise, man.
Yeah, let's get that Manischewitz going. I ordered a bunch and it went to a hotel in San Jose.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine, baby. See you, Vin.
All right, see you, Mikey. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you on Friday morning. As we